Hey, Limitless fam, just wanted to give you guys this midweek thought. We're going to be looking at Galatians chapter 2. We just did Galatians chapter 1 this past week, and this Sunday we'll be jumping into Galatians chapter 2. This is between that Jerusalem council on the circumcision and meats and Paul's second missionary journey. And so wanted to share with you guys Galatians chapter 2 verses 18 through 21. Some of you guys have heard me read this before, or at least part of it, because verse 20 is what I often read and have people repeat back during baptism. And so it's really cool considering the backdrop and what's happening here. So it's trying to give you a further picture of what's happening. So Paul is writing to Galatians to dispute some of his opponents, pretty much some of the people who were opposing him and his leadership in Galatia. And they were opposing him, saying that he wasn't an apostle, saying that his teaching wasn't the teaching that, started in Jerusalem, and that it would lead to lawlessness. And so these were some Jewish accusers who were trying to have the church continue to carry out some of the things, practices from the Jewish law. And so Paul is writing to dispute these things and dispute these claims. And starting at verse 18, he says this: "For if I rebuild what I tore down, I prove myself to be a transgressor. For through the law I died to the law, so that I might live to God. I have been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. And the life I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. I do not nullify the grace of God, for if righteousness were through the law, then Christ died for no purpose." A few quick thoughts from this. First, he points out, if I seek to rebuild what I tore down, then I'm proving and admitting my wrong. If I have to rebuild what I tore down, that means I was wrong in tearing it down in the first place. And he's saying that it is through the law that he died to the law. So what he's saying here is that he's not trying to rebuild and reestablish the law and the requirements of the law, but that has been fulfilled. He's died to those things through the fulfillment of the law, which was in Christ's sacrifice. And so there is no need to rebuild, meaning go back to and build back up the practices and the things of the law. And he says at the end that if righteousness were through the law, then Christ died for no purpose. He's saying, look, if we were attaining righteousness through the law, or we could attain it through the law, then Christ died for no purpose. But he died because we couldn't. We couldn't fulfill righteousness through the law. We couldn't attain it through the law. And so Christ died for us to fulfill that law, so that it is through him and his sacrifice that we attain righteousness. And so that's just some quick thought to hold on to. Read through Galatians chapter 2. If you haven't already, read through it a couple times. Read it with your kids. And as we come together this Sunday, we'll dig into it. We'll read through it and talk about it. But come having read it a couple of times or a time already. And just wanted to close off by sharing again. We are going to be doing those Limitless Adventures. Some announcements here. First thing coming up is that there is going to be Lent starting February 18th. I'm encouraging you guys to fast something. All right, fast something, but also keep in mind, maybe it's a fast that you kind of slide into, because on the 21st is February 21st is going to be our first Limitless Adventure, which is, these are different ideas, activities that our kids are coming up with that they want to do. And we're going to get together and do those, help them to fulfill those activities. And so parents can come along to help supervise, watch. For example, we're going to be doing a scavenger hunt and movie on February 21st. So we're doing a scavenger hunt at the village. Each group will have a parent with them to help take pictures and supervise. But the kids are doing a scavenger hunt, and then we're all going to go watch The GOAT afterwards, a movie over at Village Cinemas. All right, so that's going to be February 21st, meeting up at the Village at 11. The movie will start at 1. And then that way we'll get the scavenger hunt done first, maybe give the kids time to grab something to eat, and then get into the movie. All right. Everyday Mission Conference is something that's coming up March 6th through 7th. So mark your calendars. Plan on being there. This is a conference put on by Boise Underground. And so it is talking about and equipping and encouraging the practices that we desire to live out. It's equipping and encouraging ways for us to live those blessed rhythms and to show disruptive generosity, show that radical hospitality, to show compassion fueled by mercy, and build relationships that change lives. All right. And so you'll notice, if you've looked through our Limitless pathway, some of the things that we'll be talking about at this conference line right up with that. And it's talking about practical ways of doing these things. It is giving us skills and equipping us to be on mission. So I encourage you guys to mark that on your calendar, March 6th and 7th. It's going to be, I believe, over at Discovery Church in Boise, March 6th and 7th. So put that on your calendar. And then lastly, we're going into Lent. That means we're coming up. We're already thinking Resurrection Sunday, and we want to carry on with our escape room riddles type of deal that we did this past year. We're going to redo. So start thinking about it now. And the focus this year is going to be Jesus outside of the Gospels. Jesus outside of the Gospels. So we're going to look at places that he's mentioned, prophecies of Jesus, and use those. And we're going to use those for our riddles and our different ways of moving from room to room, different activities for this Resurrection Sunday. All right. So start thinking about that. Maybe you have some things in mind already. Feel free to claim that before someone else does, and look forward to seeing you guys this Sunday. Again, read through that Galatians chapter 2, and as we get together and we discuss that, as we help these kids to have fun with their friends, invite their friends in for the scavenger hunt, movie, and other limitless adventures we're going to be doing, we will build relationships that change lives.